Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Economic Conference Egypt 2022 have concluded yesterday with a long speech by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The Economic Conference started on the 23rd of October and for 3 days, and it was drawing a roadmap for the future of the Egyptian economy. Well, to shed more light on the conference and its recommendations, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Yomn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. Good morning, Dr. Hamaki.
Good morning.
Well, Dr. Hamaki, the conference have ended yesterday, the closing session, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have delivered a long speech during the closing session. Could you tell us the main important points that the President have mentioned?
Actually, the main messages from President el-Sisi that Egypt is going to support businessmen and women in Egypt towards enhancing investment and increasing the role of the private sector to activate economic development and to benefit and to seize opportunities regarding, the very highly potentialities of profitable investment can be done in Egypt in different sectors. We have very good potentialities in the industrial sector, in the agriculture sector, information technology, service sector. And from here it comes that the main important message, since you know that the main goal of this conference was to build a roadmap for Egypt, how to activate, economic activities and to build resilience for the Egyptian economy to address challenges, specifically challenges related to what's happening nowadays regarding, the shocks, the international shocks coming from the Russian-Ukrainian war. So this was the first message, and it was a very important message since all, the sessions of the conference have been dedicated to addressing the main obstacles confronting investors and how and the specific actions. What are the specific actions that should be taken by government in order to address such challenges? I believe that this is a turning point for Egypt regarding potentialities of investment and trying to find a climate of investment that is pro-investors to large extent and help to activate the role of the private sector. So this was, from my point of view, the most important message. Another message actually was related to the role of the, administrative, body for Egypt. To how extent this administrative body has been ready for, the development that Egypt witnessed during this period, starting from 2014 till now. And actually, the main problem that has been highlighted during such conference is that we still need to exert more efforts in order to upgrade, operationalization for the administrative body in order to cope with such changements and in order to, support reform for, this development in Egypt. And actually, President el-Sisi highlighted issue. And another point that the President el-Sisi has highlighted, actually, why there was an intensive role for the government during this period, because he mentioned quite clearly that he has asked investors to come and invest, and the response was very weak, and he has to put investment in order to activate economic activities for Egypt and to enhance the rate of growth. So from here it comes that This was the main reason behind such intensive investment, intensive public investment. But nowadays, we need to enhance the role of the private sector. So this was a justification, answering criticism for the government, the Egyptian government, for the concentration of the public investment compared to private investment.
Yes, so Dr. Hamaki, the economic conference was called by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in September. Actually, Egypt have witnessed the economic conferences, only 4 conferences since the year 1982, and another one was in the 90s. And another one was with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in 2015, and this one in 2022. Do you think that it's very important after this successful 3-day economic conference, Egypt 2022, that there would be an annual economic conference for Egypt?
Yes. Yeah, this is a very important point, and it has been mentioned by President al-Sisi and even by our Prime Minister
Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. That's true. Yes.
You mentioned Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and even President al-Sisi has highlighted this point when he mentioned that, all the recommendations are quite well known coming from such a conference, are quite well known. But still, what matters to how extent we can implement such recommendations, to how extent we can implement such recommendations. This is the most important thing and the most important, effort that we have to exert in order to activate economic activities and to benefit from all the, potentialities for the Egyptian economy.
Yes. Dr. Hamaki, during the conference, we saw some foreigners. They seem to be foreign investors. So could you give us your insight concerning the attracting foreign investment to Egypt? With the attendance, of course, that we saw a number of foreign investors attending or invited to attend the conference.
Yes, more than 300 investors have attended this conference. And actually, this was quite important. Why? Because all these investors, they have mentioned their problems, the obstacles they have been confronted with during their business. And, what was quite important that these problems actually have been handled, and they have solutions, and these solutions have been declared by Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, to how extent we are going to address the problems of customs, and to how extent we are going to address the problems of bureaucracy, and the problems of dealing with taxation system, how it's going to be mentioned. And besides, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli has clarified the incentives. Intensive incentives are going to be dedicated to the local content of production. Yes. And this is going to be declared in a very short time. Besides, regarding, the automation of the system of the application for business, this is we are we are exerting efforts toward achieving to that. And since you are going to use this automation, it's going to be quite easy to governance, to build a system of governance.
Yes, thank you so much. I thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Yomn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. That was all for today. Thank you very much for joining us in the Breakfast Show. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.